Hello, everybody. This is Tyler Preston 20. I'm here with a special guest today. His name is Xavier. How you doing, Xavier?
Really fine. Really fine for here.
Really cool. So for today's topic is something that is very different because just the other day I found this article which
Mhm.
I found to be like really interesting because it was on my timeline. And so this whole entire topic that we're discussing about, he's going to get into more details, is about
Yes.
a person named David Sanchez. He had like, of course, was going to be sentenced for like a year and 10 months in jail and had like over 3,000 euros in like fines, but they decided not to get on with it. And so
Mhm.
he's going to explain to us in more detail like what's happening with this whole entire case.
Uh, yeah. Of course. To start, I have to ask. Sorry if my English is not so good as yours, but I want to start explain to the American audience who is David Suarez, and I think the comedian that most similar is to him is a British comedy. I don't know if you know it, whose name is Jimmy Carr.
Yeah, I heard about that person, yes.
Jimmy Carr is exactly the same type of humor. It's a fast punchlines, directly shock, talking about dirty things, dark humor. That is David Suarez in Spain. David Suarez is a comedian from Galicia, like me, and he work in TV with Buenafuente. Is like Johnny Carson from here, and work in radio with doing that kind of humor, and what that go out to the radio for that kind of humor, and now has that kind of trouble with a joke that he posted on Twitter
Yeah,
two
yeah,
two
yeah,
three
like
years ago.
yeah. So what I saw from that joke was, according to the article headline, was that
Mhm.
apparently he made like some sort of reference to Down syndrome about women.
Yeah, I can tell the joke if you want. I am in
No,
Spain.
please, by all means, tell the
Well,
joke.
the joke was a Twitter. Well, was one Twitter that says something like the perfect blowjob has a lot of drool. For that reason, for that reason, I only have sex with girls with Down syndrome. Yeah, only that. Only that. Well, the thing is, uh, really, I have seen worst things every day on Twitter, but that thing in particular just blow up. And the thing here is the person who who complained about it is a dad from Spain who has a girl with Down syndrome. Has a little girl, 9 years old, 10 years old. I have read about it, and she has Down syndrome. And a kind of person like that, you can't ask that he loud with the joke, but that person have to understand that that joke is not about her daughter. And well, the problem in Spain with that kind of humor, we had been through time some spectacles like that. But in Spain, about the humor, you have two types of law, two types of law. You have objective law, laws, and subjective laws about humor. Objective laws make reference to, for example, the spread personal data of something. You cannot use humor to say the number of phone of a politician, of etc., etc. But that is an objective thing. Everybody has a common view of the thing. But we have here subjective things like, the honor, the honor, el honor. And that is most complicated because, you can make dark humor with me and I can laugh. But other person, you make the same joke about her or about him, and gonna be mad. So that is most difficult. And the case here is exactly that. We have a subjective thing that one person doesn't like it. And we had so many cases through time. I can talk about it.
Sure, please go ahead. Talk about like what are some other cases that also happen.
Well, I don't know. I think in America that is not very known, but in Spain we have a girl called Irene Villa. This girl, when she was 12, 14 years old, lost his two legs with a bomb from the terrorist group ETA. A terrorist
Yeah,
band.
I've heard about them. Yes.
Yeah, but that girl survived to the explosion, lost two legs, and with the time started to write books, making interviews, and in internet in Spain started with the time to sneaking around for some pages, some forums, jokes about her. For example, because when she grew up, she became a beautiful lady, and people start to say by internet that she was a boom girl.
Yo.
and but the issue here is that Irene Villa said in a lot of interviews that she was fine with that jokes. For she was funny, was pretty fine with her. But in 10 years ago, we had a politician called Guillermo Zapata. That sounds really Mexican, but is Spain. And she put some of that jokes on Twitter. The thing is, with the years, she got become more relevant, and people find that jokes, and was a madness for everyone. And she go to a trial too, because an association of victims of terrorism, they went to a trial. And the trouble here is that the victims of terrorism in Spain are mostly from right wing, for historical reasons. And that politician was for left wing, so was a conflict. And the trouble here is when Irene Villa said that jokes are perfect to her, that was no trouble. The victims of terrorists went mad with her and start to saying, "You must be offended. You should be offended," and that was really crazy. Was a similar thing to our that we are having with David Surez, because some people with Down syndrome say it for Twitter, saying from Facebook that is fine today, and some people started to saying to that person that is not okay, and that's really bad.
Yeah, just looking from the outside of Spain, it seems as though like how is it that like the police go after people making jokes, but then I see like the videos on the internet, like these protests of the separatists all across Catalonia, these sort of places. How could they go after the jokes first before the the rioters?
Well, I think that's a good question. I think the problem here is that David Suarez is a person who with a name and with an address, and you can go to him. But that person's, the face is covered, hats. It's more difficult, and if you can in Spain, it's very difficult to went something to the justice if you don't identify her or identify him. And when you have the name and you have the address of the person, that should be more sure that person starts in a trial, and that's the thing here. But I want to talk about a magazine in Spain that it's other very famous case in Spain. It's a magazine called El Jueves, the Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
That magazine, we have here that magazine from the 70s. That magazine, I don't know, 12 years ago, 14 years ago, was to a trial to make a cover with the principes of Spain, Felipe and Leticia, fucking around in the cover. Fucking naked, explicit. But explicit, naked. No subtle, no subtle,
Is it like on the internet? Is it on the internet for people to see?
How?
Is it like in the internet for people to see it, or just for research purposes?
You can see it. You can see it. It's on internet now. But in that moment was a crime to have the magazine. That number of the magazine. Wow. Really. But now it's in internet for free. The time flies. But the issue is that magazine in the story make the same things with presidents, for the right wing, for the left wing, famous people, the kings of their countries like Norway, etc. And nothing happened. But with this, with this kind of thing, yes. In Spain, these things are kind of being in the wrong place in the wrong time.
Speaking about, I'm sorry, like my microphone was off for 1 minute, but
okay.
But like I want to show you something that I saw just today because I thought that was also really crazy. Because we were just talking a little bit about the police, and it turns out, according to what I saw on Twitter, that the civil guard actually has some sort of lecture about gender violence.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I was like, what the heck is going on right there?
I have seen.
And apparently they said like it's a myth that like there are women abusers.
Yeah. Well, that happened. That's real. That's the sad thing, But that's real, and not only with the civil war. We have with for the next year we have a law in Congress that the companies with more of 50 employees has to have a committee of feminists with a group of feminist women to capacitate the employees with a gender perspective. I assure you, if your company have more than 50 employees, you have to have a committee of feminists that's gonna be teach your employees about gender perspective, tolerance.
What?
Yeah.
By the way, can you show us like the article for everybody to
see? I can if you're in Twitter, I can show you the link and you see it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I have the computer right here. Just give me a minute. But yeah, that's for sure. That was crazy. That was all week all week talking about it.
That is crazy because, like, it's kind of funny because in the United States, we're also kind of experiencing just sort of, extreme ideas of, the far left too. Have you heard about what's going on with critical race theory in our country?
How, what?
Have you heard about what's been going on in our country about critical race theory?
Yeah, have heard
Yeah.
something, but that's more about the race than the gender,
Yeah,
not.
more about the race and the gender, right? But like, it's kind of reminds me of that kind of stories that we hear all the time about critical race theory. It's just crazy, but I don't think any sort of police officer are trained here in our country with like the gender perspective. Wow.
Hmm. Yeah, but and that's gonna be a law, not a recommendation, not a um a law, a mandatory law. I have the link. I am gonna put it on your private. Here you have it.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
in Spanish. It's in Spanish. But well, I think that that your audience must note that in Spain we have a Ministry of Equality, and that explains so many things.
Yeah. The Ministry of Equality that's led by by the Podemos leader, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah. It's gonna so yeah, he's right. So basically what it says right here is that the government is forcing like the businesses that have like over 50 employees to create a commission of equality. That's crazy.
That's really crazy.
Wow.
I am embarrassed for that news.
That's so crazy, man. That is really crazy.
Well,
But can you go into more? Can you go into more detail for my audience about the Ministry of Equality?
well, the Ministry of Equality is called Irene Montero, and she was the couple of the guy that was vice president in the government, in the actual government. But it's with it's a girl that is saying, the patriarchy, the trans people, is always with that kind of things. But if you have a Ministry of Equality, I think so, you must protect same sides in equally. But she only and exclusively talk about women, trans, immigrants. But when it's time to talk about men, for example, suicide is crazy in Spain. Suicide of men, we have mostly 11 men suicide by day. But when it's time to talk about that kind of things, the thing that she say is we live in a patriarchy, the men are fine. And I am not really sure that we are in a patriarchy if we have a government with a ministry explicitly to the problem of the women and the trans and the migrants. What kind of
And also, please correct me if I'm wrong too, but also I heard news that there are like 4 women vice presidents now.
We have 4 vice presidencies. That's just imagine in the Eisenhower time have 4 Richard Nixons. That's crazy. Just imagine. But yeah, and every vice president has their own committee of people telling what's the best things to say, etc. And that costs money. And that money, where it's not easy money. Come for us. And it's really crazy because we are having the most expensive state in our history, and we have a government saying that they are make decisions to our economy, but most of our economy go to the government, and that's crazy. We start with a president and a 4 vice presidents. Then the ministers, the safeguards, there's a I am saying the cost of that.
Now, this news is also recent. So basically, more or less, originally, like the Spanish government wanted to force like Netflix or HBO to produce content, at least 6% of it, in Catalan. But it's like they decided that they're no longer going to do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, in the office, in the office would be a perfect episode, but that's the real life and it's not so funny. But yeah, the thing was that we have in Spain, for if one doesn't know, we have 4 languages. We have Spanish, we have Catalan, we have Galician language, and Euskera. So the people from Catalonia, the politicals from Catalonia, asked to the government that Netflix had 66% of their content in Catalan. That is, series made in Catalonia in Catalan, and shows and series and movies, como dobladas,
it's like dubs.
dubs to Catalan, Squid Game, Peaky Blinders, The Office, all. The problem is that when you do that, you are doing because it's rent that gives money. For example, Squid Game. We have Squid Game in Spanish because we have a lot of people that want to see the Squid Game in Spanish, and that not gonna see it in Korean with subtitles, and that makes a difference for do it. But in Catalonia, we have 10 millions, 12 millions of people. 12 millions speak Catalan, less than 10. Less than 10, 6, 5 have Netflix. 6, 5, 4 want to see the Squid Game. And from these 4, 2 want to see specifically in Catalan. So money we don't have money to do that.
Right, because isn't it because like of course like the money that you guys are also paying goes into like the certain television stations too, right?
Can you repeat, please?
I'm sorry. So it's like the money from like the taxpayers is also going to TV stations too.
Yeah, and the dub studios and the translators, etc. With these languages, Gallego, Catalan, and Euskera, are paying with public money because it's considered not all the time, but in specifically times they are considered cultural interesting and are paying with public money. But that's it's something I can explain you with an example. If you have to make a cake that cost $80, but only you're gonna sell 2 pieces for $10, you don't gonna make a cake. But that's the reason for that we can't do 66% of Netflix in Catalan because it's not gonna be rentable. But the politicians from Catalonia doesn't get about it.
It's really interesting about this whole entire stuff about language, because it's my general impression from the outside that at least in Catalonia they tend to discriminate people who speak Spanish.
Well, not all the people. I have to say it. Not all the people. People who has a minimum of education, if they can talk in Catalan, but if they say that you don't talk Catalan, speaking Spanish. But we have a group of people that only speak in Catalan because they want. They know Spanish, they can talk Spanish, but they want it. And they give a fuck if you don't understand it. They gonna speak Catalan and only Catalan, and that's rude because we have a common language, And I have the sensation, I am a Spanish guy, I have the sensation that we are using language instead of communicate us to separate us. And we had the last week a politician from Madrid called Cayetana Álvarez de Toledo, a politician from Madrid, that has an interview in Catalonia. And the program from Catalonia wanting to do the interview in Catalan. So they offered her,
Like
pinganillo
the translator thing. Yeah.
to translate Catalan to Spanish to her, and she rejected it because it's absurd use a translator in with two persons of the same country. It's ridiculous. You know, I think Spain is becoming in the Springfield of the Simpsons. It's delusional.
Yeah, like it doesn't make any sense because I would think because they share the same language, why would you need like a thing in your ear to translate it?
Because the reason that they give is that a Catalonian TV with a Catalonian audience we want to hear Catalonian, so that's the reason. But if you are making an interview, you have to the person that you are making the interview have to understand you, to respond you, and for luck, Cayetana Álvarez de Toledo is a person who knows Catalan, not a lot, but she knows, and she make an interview without translator, and sometimes that doesn't know every word, but she can explain herself, etc. But if she was a politician that doesn't know anything about Catalan, we have been two people of the same country using a translator, and that's crazy.
Yes. But what's even crazier though is that sometimes from the outside, I've heard news, and correct me if I'm wrong too, but I heard like sometimes there are separatists in Catalonia who think that Catalans created everything.
What?
I heard that sometimes that like Catalonian separatists think that they created everything.
Well, Catalonia has a problem with that because Catalonia doesn't want to. Well, that's what we say. Catalonia doesn't want to be in Spain, but it's just a small group of people that make a lot of noise. With that is that persons that doesn't want to speak Spanish, even if they know it. There are those people, and it's crazy because in Catalonia we got how I say it, a big companies. Catalonia is a community with a lot of fabrics, companies, etc. Is with Madrid is the biggest community in Spain in that way. So take away Catalonia from Spain is take away a very important part. and they think that they think that if they take away Catalonia from Spain, all those companies, all those factories gonna stay. But the reason that those factories stay is because they have the rest of Spain to make business. If but the first thing that those people wanted, if they cut up with Spain, is block Spain from the equation. So those companies, the mostly of those companies, in that case, that's not going to happen. But in that case, move on to Spain, and Catalonia gets nothing. But for those people, that the things that have right now are the things that they're gonna have in a case of make an independent country, and that's gonna be like that. That's not gonna be like that.
Right, right. Now, getting back to the main topic, which was about, the censorship and free speech, it's so sad, looking at European countries, how they have like no sort of free speech, First Amendment protection. And it's like, it's almost feel as though that my country is like the last bastion of free speech.
Yeah, yeah. We always talk about United States like an example of speech freedom, but I think the problem here is the offense, because we are creating a society in what when you are most offended, you are most watched, you are most loved, you are most, are you okay? I'm sorry. What can I do for you? And when you got all those things, but be sad with a joke, you be the saddest person in the room. And you know, instead of create an situation where you don't have to like a joke if you don't want it, but you have to tolerate the jokes that you don't like it, and instead to make that the effort to give that lesson, we're doing the opposite. And we have things like the David Surez, a father with a Down syndrome daughter, have been offended by a joke that doesn't name the daughter, doesn't name the he like a father, because the Down syndrome. So the first lesson with you make comedy, I make comedy. I am a scripter. The first lesson when you make comedy is understand that what that the things are you say in a joke are not real. And I think that the that lessons about humor is in the show business, in the comedians, but are not in the audience, and should be in the audience. The basics.
Right, it seems as though that any sort of joke nowadays tend to be really controversial among people. And of course, like it seems as though that the comedians nowadays are like the real last, persons that stand up for free speech because they know that what they say is not supposed to be taken seriously. It's supposed to be a joke. Now there
Yeah.
has been like some sort of controversy
I
with.
want to say a thing. Just a thing. I know, but you can see it. There, the majority of comedians in Spain, that things is terrible for him. The opinion that they have about this kind of things is terrible. But most of that comedians, when these things happened, stay in silence because cancel culture, and they are afraid that and if he write speak about David Suárez and defend him, they can be in trouble. And shows, cancel shows, Twitter cancellation, and they don't want it. And the fear, I think the problem here is the fear.
Right,
That, that,
because there are some like sorts of stuff that happens after get canceled by it. Like
yeah,
more
yeah.
recently, there was like a Dave Chappelle, he made some sort of, comments about, I guess, transgender people. And then there was
Yeah,
like a humongous, protest in California. It was like really crazy.
I
So
I have seen it. I have seen that guy is a genius. That guy is a genius. I have seen the specials. What were crazy. But Dave Chappelle, I think that is a man that understand the game. It's a thing that said in the last special is you are a bunch of white women try to cancel a black guy. So you know you know uh, that we say that's a kind of Ku Klux Klan situation. No, a bunch of white persons chasing to a black guy, and she understand that things, the minorities,
and
and
the oppressive Olympics, because like the black people are supposed to, like, really, really
the,
high.
the
Yeah.
oppressions. Instead. Well, is that what Dave Chappelle say? No, you are oppressed because you are a woman. Well, you are white. I am black. Fuck it. But the problem in Spain is that card is no easy to play because we don't have so many minorities as you. Well, we have the black people that we have. Mostly of them come from Africa, but it's not a people. It's people who are news in the country. It's not we not don't have a tradition to have black people in Spain in the levels that you have. So the minority groups, we got the gypsies, for example, but we don't have the same variety that you have in America. And it's not easy to play the minority group. For example, David Surez is a comedian that only say that he is a Turkish child because she looks very young and she looks very with brown, bronceado, very
Like very dark.
yeah, and he have that joke, but really minority groups we don't have so much as like you.
Yeah. I remember reading, like, according to the statistics, at least I think, 80% are, like, Spanish, and like the minorities, like you said, is like really, really low.
Yeah, and I think that before of that, that political correctness, we don't have the same problem with the minorities that we have now, because minorities was not the big issue in Spain, but you start to bombing, so to our, with me. So you have to respect them. You have to give it all. Yeah, and you are make the minorities a problem because you are treating like a child that cannot defend by themselves, and you are making me seem like a child that can defend it for herself. And is that point is when I start to think, well, they are not like us because they cannot defend themselves. So
Right.
that's the
It's
problem.
like they try to cuddle people, like, like you said, like they're children, and it's like really assaulting to me, because if you're
Hmm.
making, like, these sort of actions based upon what you want to do, I think we should treat everybody the same no matter who they are. Not say, oh
Yeah,
my God, this guy's black, let's treat him differently.
yeah. And well, being a child, it's a fashion in Spain because we have a politician here, for example, called Íñigo Errejón, is a left-wing politic, saying that the casinos and the internet internet game ball, all that kind of things, more be in the business that they have the activity should to protect the consumers. And you say when when a casino have to worry about the consumers, that The casino is not your father saying only that money, no much. Uh, that's your work. That's your work. You have to say it. I only gonna play 10,000. $50, $80, whatever. I only gonna play this money. They gonna went that play more, but I don't gonna do it. The casino is not your father, and we have those politicians saying that the responsibility is for the casinos, that is not for the. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy because that's the same thing that a ludopath said. It's not me. It's the casino. You know. When a ludopath lose, that's what they say. It's not me. It's the casino. It's stronger than me. And we have here with the casinos and the internet, the internet game ball, etc. We have a politician say that, and it's ridiculous because you are giving the responsibility of yours to the casino. The casino doesn't gonna do it, and it's crazy because it's the guilt, oral guilty, not you. You're a baby. You don't have the guilty of nothing. You're a baby, and it's ridiculous because we are adult. We are adult. We can make mistakes, but
it's like what you said earlier. This is like a episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah, exactly. You have to take the responsibility, and those people for those people in Spain, the left-wing politicians, the blame is with everyone, but not with herself or with himself. No, it's the business, is the right wing, is the climate change, it's whatever, but not me. And that's the most irresponsible speech that I heard in my life. And the people who believe it is in a trouble because they're gonna do what they want, and if something bad happened, it's not me.
By the way, how's like the libertarian movement going on in Spain? Is it big or just small?
Well, we have a Libertarian Party, but it's a very, very, very small party. It's we call saloon party. A bunch of guys talking with themselves in a saloon, drinking, but they are not doing nothing relevant. But the libertarian movement, like an idea, is growing up in Spain. The problem in Spain is that we don't have a relevant party who give power to that idea. But you can see it in Twitter, in Facebook, in YouTube, libertarian channels.
I know, Vicky from her channel. So that's like one example, Vicky.
Yeah, for example, but we have a lot of libertarian, channels in YouTube, in Twitter, etc. For majority, that counts has a lot of watchers, a lot of followers. That the left wing counts. And we are having that's real. I sure only I think is real. It's not an script. It's not I mention. We are having here this week. I'm sure I can show you the news.
Yeah, please show me the link. Me. Yeah.
We have here a bunch of left wing YouTubers saying that they need a syndicate.
Okay.
In Spain, we have a bunch of YouTubers for left wing, inclusive, ecologists, etc., saying that they need a syndicate to make them stronger than the libertarian YouTubers. That's really. They ask it to YouTube. To YouTube like a business, they ask it, the algorithm to make it more democratically.
Okay, can you pass me the link so we can see the video?
Well, for the same way, and they are asking to YouTube to make the website more democratically. I don't know what the fuck does that mean? I don't know. You have to want to have the same followers than me. I give you something. What do you want? What do you want? Because I have 1 million of followers. I give you the half. What's going on? I'm gonna pass you the link.
That is crazy, man. That is really, really crazy. I mean, if you already have like millions of subscribers, then why need some sort of help from YouTube? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I have to say it. In Spain, internet and the YouTube, etc., is dominated is for conservative channels, libertarian channels, right wing channels, and that's okay because it's the audience deciding. But the other people in the other political spectrum has envy about it and doesn't
I remember reading one time on my timeline there was like an article that was going after like people like Vicky because they were like, and they called like the people like her like the alt-right, which is crazy because she's anything but the alt-right or what extreme right whatever.
That they are saying that we are fight for a better job conditions, but YouTube is not a job. But you have money with YouTube, but you are not a worker of YouTube. Because we have I don't know if you know a guy is called white straight guy. Un tío blanco.
I know him. I know him. I know Sergio. Yeah, we talked before.
Except that's okay. That's I think in my opinion is the greatest YouTuber of Spain in that kind of themes. Political, economy, etc. It's very funny. It's a guy.
Yeah, I discovered his channel at least 3 years ago, and like I think he's like one of the first ever people that kind of produced like that kind of content, but for Spain.
In Spain, the people that don't like it calls him the condom because the dress. They say that he's a condom because he's wearing a white
like the white mask.
Yeah, and they say he's a condom guy. He's a condom guy. But okay. Well, I am past you the new. And the thing with that kind, the YouTuber syndicate is that the people who defends it, it's forgetting that the people who decide who YouTuber has 1 million subscribers and what YouTuber has only 80 is the audience. It's not YouTube saying we're gonna give this guy 1 million, 2 million of followers. No, it's the audience.
The link you sent me said it's not working right now.
Oh well, wait. I'm sorry for that.
It's okay.
Well, we have a lot of news about that in Spain. Okay. Well, I are seeing a lot of news, but I want the new in the day that happened, and I am seeing it. Well, I got here. Yeah, I have it.
Okay, all right, great.
Well, yeah, you have it.
Yeah, that's much better. Like much better. Okay, let me click on it.
That goes on.
There it is. Yeah, right here. Yeah, it says that they are planning to create like a syndicate of like streamers, and of course, there's like the images right here. It's see. Let's see if there's a video. Is there a video
Uh,
that?
yeah, they made a video. Yeah, they made a video saying that it's very important to support the syndicate because YouTube have a conspiration about the left wing and it's very terrible. That I have to say it. If YouTube is against you with a syndicate, it's not gonna stop it because it's YouTube. But you have to make more than that. But they are talking about democratize being the algorithm more democratic, but nothing, even they can explain what that is, and that's the problem. I want a more democratic algorithm. Well, what is that? And they stay in silence because even they sounds good, but it's nothing.
Yeah, the thing about the algorithm, I think there was a video that was done by Project Veritas, and apparently, from what I gather so far, like Google has a more of a bias towards like the left-wing YouTubers in comparison to the right. And so when
Yeah.
you're saying that they're saying that they want a democratic algorithm, like shouldn't
Mhm.
YouTube, treat everybody the same?
But they think that when YouTube recommends a left wing channel with 80 viewers or 100 viewers and recommend a right wing channel with 2 millions of viewers is because YouTube says that support of interests we want to promote that guy. No, it's because the algorithm saying thinks uh, that guy has 80 viewers, that guy 2 millions. For statistics, you're gonna love it more the second than the first. That you got the second. But they think it's a conspiracy, like X Files, and But the trouble, I am a YouTube watcher, and I am a very big YouTube watcher, and I can understand that if you see the right wing channels, if people making jokes, talking about economy, debating, but the left wing channels are people complaining it, crying, saying that the world is unfair. And one video of that, 2 videos of that, it's good. But seeing this all the days, the same thing,
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you want to love it.
It's funny because I see more like the debates and discussion on the right wing channels than the left wing ones because, like you said, they always cry about stuff, and so it's like, okay, if you want
Mhm.
to actually be like treated like an adult, and then actually go on those channels and discuss your ideas with those people.
Yeah, because we have here something that we call in Spain chantaje sentimental. Sentimental blackmail is
Yeah, blackmail. Yeah, blackmail.
yeah,
Yes.
it is how I don't have reasons, logical reasons to make you think like me. I'm gonna do it crying, and that's surprisingly with some people that works. When I go to YouTube, I want to, I want to be informed. I want to be entertained. But if we have something sad to trade it, we trade it. But if you have a new and you see how trade one and trade other, it's no comparison. It's crazy. For example, un tío blanco hetero with some news make fun, and with other he gets angry. But you always have you know a thing, an idea, something interesting. But the other channels, the other left wing channels, um, doesn't matter the notice, doesn't matter the news. They always want to complain it, the patriarchy, the rich, etc. And You can say the new, and you can say that left wing channel gonna say that, and you go to the channel, is he or she saying that? Then where is the fun with that?
Yeah, it gets really boring really quickly because ultimately, again, like if you want to catch people's interest, have discussions, have debates, actually have your ideas challenged, not just cry and complain
Yeah,
about things. Yeah. And
and
and also when it comes down to YouTube, it's also really hard because like the process is like really hard too because you have to get the camera to shoot your videos. You get like a professional microphone. You have to edit your videos, and you have to think about the ideas of what you want to talk about. And so the process to be at least a decent YouTuber is like a lot of things behind it.
yeah, YouTube now is a serious business. That jokes 20 years ago saying internet is a serious business. Now they are real. Internet is serious business. Sometimes it's more serious the things that happen in internet than the others. That's crazy. But YouTubers think that like the way say for themselves, we are in the left wing. We are morality superior. That's enough. No, you have to entertain the audience. You have to give something to think. And we have a left wing movement, government. Sorry, we have a left wing movement. Sorry, government, government. We
Government.
have a left wing government. So the people in the right is going against the power, is going contestarian. The people in the left wing, they like it or not, they are supporting the power, and that's the problem. You cannot be the anti-system. You cannot be the punk if you are saying the government has right, you have to support it. It's ridiculous, and we have governments of right, but and when that happens, the left was the other part, but now the left.
It's interesting you talking about like the YouTubers and how it's easy to make money on the internet nowadays. Now, I
Mm,
cannot remember the exact guy. He was like a streamer. I think he was from like, the Scandinavian countries, whatever. But I
mm.
heard that he went to like Andorra to stay
Yeah,
there because he wanted to, not pay the high taxes. So
yeah, yeah,
how's
yeah.
like the situation going on?
Well, that YouTuber is called El Rubius. That's the name, but it's not the only, because we have a guy called Wall Street Wolverine. That's the name, really the name in English, and he do the same thing, and because he has to pay in Spain for their activity 40% of taxes. Uh, You are you are and 10% to give the government the half. That's
That's
very good.
way too
For a
much.
start,
That's
for a
way
start,
too
that's
much.
very good. For a start, that's very rude, because in my case, the only person that I give so much money is my couple. So it's very rude to start a conversation saying give me money, but that's gonna that's gonna that's not gonna be well, and but we have that, and the problem is we have public services that are worst and worst and worst every day, and we have to pay it even more. We are paying more every day, and we are giving less every day. So some people say, "Fuck it, fuck it." That's the problem. That's the problem. And in Spain, we are starting to think that the issue about the money is not the amount, is how you spend it. And in Spain we have a catchphrase that tú puedes hacer menos con más. Es decir, you
You can
can
do
do more
without
with less.
more, yeah.
You can have 1 million of euros, and make more than other guy with 10 millions of euros, but less ideas or less contact, whatever. And that's the problem. In Spain, we have a political class that say more money equals to better services. It doesn't have to be like that. Doesn't have, because they always say when you are against it, the left wing always says you are against the schools, you are against the hospitals, and it's like I cannot choose. I am paying the hospitals, but I am paying the 4 vice presidents too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. They are, like a bunch of reines, in the same rope, tired. If you want to rescue one, you have to rescue them all. It's the same thing. They are tired. They are with a strength, and it's very crazy because they it's an expression here. Tienes de rehenes los hospitales. You are using the hospitals like rehenes to ask for more money to your vice presidents, to the plane of the president, and it's crazy. And we have a plane. We have a plane for the president in a country that is smaller than one of your states.
That is true.
It's not like you are in Washington and you have to fly to Florida. That's not going to happen. So your country is like Europe. Our president doesn't have nothing to have in Russia so fast. So you don't need a plane. You have only to have to be a better agenda and planify everything, and that's going to be fine. But the plane, the security, the vice presidents, the ministers, but if you don't want to pay all of that, if you don't want to pay that, they say you don't want to pay hospitals. It's a crazy situation. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's like what you said before. It's like emotional blackmail because, like, oh my god, you have to pay this, you have to pay this. Oh,
for the kids, do it for the kids. That kids in the hospital, they need you.
Okay.
Yeah, and you say, I am paying for the kid of the president. That's the kids I am feeding. That's kids. The kids of the president have more money from me from he. That's the situation. When the kids of the people in the government go to university, in the graduation have to thanks me.
Okay. So yeah, we've been going on for an hour right now. So
Yeah.
I think we could probably shut down this whole entire live stream. But before we go, share with my audience your social media so that they can follow you.
Well, I have a Twitter account called Brisbik. I don't know if you can show it or
hold on, let me try to find it right now.
Okay. I have a Twitter account, and I am working in the like a scripter in the Alienada channel. Making the script of videos, and that's my social network. I don't have more of that.
Yeah, that's his right here. That's his Twitter.
That's my account. And if you want to know something more about me, about what I do, you can follow me on Twitter. I am, in the Alienada channel, and I'm writing my first graphic novel right now. A comic book, and I have that kind of projects for the next year. I want to make my first comic book. And I working with humor and with the writing in internet, in physical projects like comics, magazines, etc. And well, I am starting, but the future is very big.
Yeah, right. And also, you can follow me on my social media at Twitter, Facebook, etc. at Tyler Preston 20. Thanks again for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate that I can speak English for an hour. I am the first person with the surprise. Oh my god, I can do it. I could do it.
Yeah, if he could do it, anyone could do it.
What?
Like if you could do it, then anybody else could do it.
Anybody. The people from Catalonia can speak English too. No, Spanish not, but English yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody can.
All right, so bye everybody.